Welcome all to the Weekly Outlook. Boone here from EWPRO. Starting off with the DXY on the daily. Nothing's changed on the daily. It still can go quite a few different ways here. If we're looking at this as the A, B, C, like I've got it drawn here, I would like to still see more downside. Because this low here, the ending point of wave A, has been broken in the C wave, it can be finished at any time. But it's really not clear. The direction isn't clear that this C wave is over. And there is, this could turn more complex. We get a correction in here, another one down, and then we get an A, B, C in here, for example, and then we get some sort of A, B, C. This can turn quite complex on the daily. There's no real clear direction on the daily at this stage. So we're really going down to the lower time frames to, get the direction. The H4, we got the 5 down. We don't have any bullish divergence, and we have a possible bear hidden here. Again, there's two scenarios here because this can be an A, this is a B, and we get a C down here for a flat, and then we get an A, B, C up in here. If I just go down to the H1, I'll explain it a little bit better. What could happen, what we could see. So I'm looking at this as a B wave. So I'm looking at a WXY, possible X2 in here, and then a Z up, and then we get an A, B, C in here for your running or expanding flat, and then we get an A, B, C. Before we get more downside, if this doesn't turn motive, this turns into a wave Y instead of a wave C, well, that's the end of it. So that's the structure that I'm looking at. We may get one down in here, another one up here, and then that C down, and then a larger C up for the A, B, C. AU on the daily. So we're looking for that C up. Unfortunately, it's come straight back down. Like I was looking for this A, B, C. It's come sharply down now. It doesn't mean that this wave C is over. Just makes it more difficult because, again, like DXY, this can become a lot more complex, this correction in here. May get another one down in here for some sort of an A, B, C, and then you get an A, B, C. So again, we're really looking at the lower time frames for a direction because there is no clear direction on the daily at this stage. There's no complete structure. On the H4, we do still have this bull hidden here. We got this like WXY, possible X2, and we can get a Z up. So really, if you get a bullish setup on the lower time frames, you could look for a buy. On the H1, we do have 3 down, as you can see, and I'm not sure if we have bullish divergence or not. I believe we do just. We didn't quite get to that 100 fib, but that's fine. We got this A, B, C. You really have to go down to the lower time frames and try and get in here. I'll just quickly go down to the M15. M15, you can see what's happening here. It looks very choppy. So more than likely, we'll get another one down in here. This is looking very choppy in here. So I dare say it's just a correction and we'll get another one down for an A, B, C in here. So really there is no buy setup. It's more of a sell. If you get the sell, you could scalp it just to go and break that low, basically, because then we'll be getting a lot more bullish divergence. And all the majors are pretty much the same on the daily. You know, it could really go either way. They're not really complete. It's the same as the GU on the daily. You know, I'm looking at this A, B, and a C. Well, this, if we're looking at that as a wave C, it has gone and broken the ending point of wave A. So it can fall over from here. And like I have been mentioning, the second scenario is we get this is an impulse and this is correction, and we get another one down in here for an A, B, C before we get the A, B, C. So, and if we go down onto the lower time frames, this does look very corrective. It looks very choppy. We did have the 5 up in here. We had that WXY, X2, we got that Z up, and it's still looking very corrective in here. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do get another impulse up, just breaking that top. At this stage. On the H1, it's like many of the others. We got this like this ABC in here. So we got this A, B, C. We got this like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down in here, flat in the middle here for an A, B, C. Then we got that C down. Again, really have to go down to the lower time frames to get this. Well, this was during the week. I was looking at one down in here and then another one up to break the top, and that's pretty much happened. I'll take this off. So we've already got this flat here. This flat here did play out, but it looks like it's becoming more complex. I was looking for like an A, B, C in here as that running flat, and then we did get the A, B, C with the bearish divergence. The problem is, you know, we never got that really nice impulse down and correction to sell. So this is becoming more complex. And more than likely, this is a correction and we get another one down when this whole correction is finished. It's not looking motive. We could look at this as like an A, B, C, and then we get an A, B, C, and this is the flat here now, and then we get that A, B, C. So more than likely there is more upside. It's really only a scalp for a C up. It may, you know, the bull hidden may play out, and it goes up and breaks the top, but you know, this is looking more corrective than it does motive at this stage. But again, you know, if I just change this here to what it currently is looking like, you know, you could trade it up to the 100 fib, and then you'd want to be careful. You know, you'd be looking to target this 100 fib here to start off with, you know, and that's right around this trend line. So again, we'll have a trend line and 100 fib. So, you know, it possibly could bounce off the 100 fib and give us another one down. You could go down onto the lower time frames and look for your, you know, a buy setup to buy. At this stage, there is no sell. Well, it possibly could end here because we have broken the ending point of the wave A in this wave C up in here. So technically it could end any time. But yeah, I think there'd be a little bit more upside in it. I won't go down to the lower time frames, but you can go down if you get a bullish setup in here. It's just a scalp, but yeah, you may get lucky and it takes off and goes and breaks the top too. EU on the daily, again, like the others on the daily, there is no clear direction now because we have this A, B, C. This wave C has gone and broken the ending point of that wave A. This is quite choppy in here again. So, there is a chance that this is, this can be an A, B, C here, and that was it. Then the impulse, correction, impulse. So this may fall over in here and give us a C down. There's no real clear direction on the daily. On most of these majors, most of them are the same. On the H, excuse me, on the H4, we did get the 5 up, and we lost that bearish divergence, and we've got 3 down in here. Hasn't got back to the 100 fib. It's more on the H1. I'll just go down to the H1. So we got this like A, B, and we're getting this C down. This still looks like a flat in here for more downside. If we have a look at this, there could be, this may turn more complex too, and this may be the B wave in here. And then we get an A, B, C, A, B, C before we get an A, B, C, more downside. So this can turn into a correction. It wouldn't hurt to, even if you got a sell set up in this B wave, you could look for that C down. You'd have to be careful, like I said, because it may turn more complex and you get another one up in here. And we get the A, B, C, and then you get the larger A, B, C before it gets more downside. So if you're trading this pair, I'd be looking at some sort of a structure like that to trade. It's really only scalping. And new on the daily, again, looking at that A, B, C. I was looking for that C to get up to that 100 fib. Instead, like I've mentioned, actually, it's not on this one. It's on the AU where we had that bear hidden. This one actually had a cross in here, so we don't have that bear hidden. But again, it hasn't gone. It may still give us more upside, but there's no real clear direction now because we're starting to get a deep correction. On the H4, we got the 5 up like many of the other pairs. This one, we did get that bearish divergence. So we got that W, X, Y, X2, and that Z up. We got an A, B, C down in here. It's bouncing off that 100 fib if we have a look on the H1. And so you can see it's bouncing clean off their first target, that 100 fib. So, this, like the others, like EU, we may just get like a correction in here, some sort of a flat correction before we get another one down. We do have bullish divergence on this one, so you can look for a bullish setup, but unfortunately we didn't get a impulse. Excuse me. It's more of a correction. This is, I'd be looking at that as the B wave, and we get some sort of an A, B, C, and then more downside. It's looking very bearish. There's nothing motive looking about this pattern, so I'd be looking for more downside. You'd have to be careful because we do have that bullish divergence on the H1, and yeah, it's looking bearish. So you have to be careful looking for the buy. Looking for the sell, and there really isn't much of a buy on it. It didn't give a nice buy setup. It hasn't given a nice buy setup yet. Ideally, what I would like to see is we get this C up in here, like an A, B, C, and then it falls over on us. And then we get a fresh start, nice setup, from a low, because it's very difficult, very risky to be buying this in here when it looks so corrective. UI. This one didn't play out very nicely. Well, the last bit didn't. Well, we're looking at that WXY, X2 and the Z up as a, and then we got this internal, well, extended wave Y. I was looking for a larger X2 here and then a Z up. Instead, it's just come straight down here, and it's given a bull hidden here, and that bull hidden has played out, and it's I'm not quite sure if it's broken the top yet, but it's very close to breaking the top if it hasn't. Yeah, well, it has actually broken the top. So, so really, and what I mean by it didn't really give us a nice setup. If you go back through my videos, I was looking at this as a B wave in here because it looks so choppy, and we get an A, B, C in here, and then we get an A, B, C, A, B, C. Before we got the larger A, B, C, that's the sort of structure that I was looking at. Instead, this took off. There was that buy set up in here, and you definitely could have looked for it. It was very risky at the time because, again, this could have fallen over for another one down before you got another one up, like I just showed before it fell over. I would be leaving this alone, especially now that it's broken the top again. If anything, if you were looking to trade, you'd have to wait for a correction. You'd have to wait. I'd be looking at it as a WXY, and you get an X2, and you'd be looking to trade a Z up on the H4. So really, you'd have to wait for a nice correction. It is giving bullish setups, but when we get these bullish setups up here, you can see what happens. You get a bullish setup. It's scalping really because it goes and then it comes straight back down. This may go and it comes straight back down, and it can keep on doing this, for a long time. But yeah, ideally, I would like to see, a top and then a nice impulse down, a nice clear setup. Something like this over here as bearish show, and we can look for the sell then, to sell in that X2 back to the 38.2 fib of the wave Y. UY on the daily. I was looking at that A, B, and we get a C down in here. Again, we started to get that wave C. We had that bull hidden, like I said, so it's no real surprise that this may go and break that top, with that bull hidden there. But I would have really liked to see a little bit more downside in here, and then we could really load up. And it's difficult when it's like this to buy when it didn't really complete the structure. Like I've mentioned over the last few weeks, even if this does go and break the top, I'd still be looking at all this as a B wave. And then we get at the A, the B, and the C as either running or expanding flat, and then we get more upside. So I am still looking at, even if this does go break the top, I'll still be looking at it as a B wave until I see something different. There was this nice flat you could have traded. If you're not in that, you pretty much have to stay out now. I mean, this is more on the daily, on the H1, sorry. There was this nice flat. I did post this in the room, in the private room, and we were looking at it as well, in these videos, these weekly outlooks. But it's like many of the other pairs. We got this A, B, C. I'll just double check to see if this one does have the bearish divergence now. It does have the bearish divergence, so we just got a C up. So I definitely wouldn't be looking for the buy up here, especially with that bearish divergence. It may give us another one down. It's difficult. I mean, It's like what I teach my traders, you know, if you get into something down here and you hold it, if you see something like this A, B, C here, something like this, and you're holding half of this trade here, well, then it makes it a lot easier to be able to, you know, scalp up the top. But if you're not into a trade down here, I wouldn't be looking for a trade up there. I teach traders to add to their positions, to follow the trend and add to your positions, not, you know, scalping and over trading. Over trading is an account killer. So looking at UCAD, we're looking at that WXY, X2, and we're looking for this Z up. It never went up and broke the top. So then we were looking at this flat here, and this flat looks like, well, it's starting to play out, but, you know, I don't like it. You know. We got 5 up in here, an impulse, impulse, impulse. So we got an A, B, C in here, and then an A, B, C to finish off the B wave. Then we got that A, B, C as the expanding flat. Ideally, this does go up and at least break the ending point of this wave Z here. It hasn't done that yet. And it may not. You know, we got a bear hidden in here. So like I mentioned last week, you know, you got to be very careful buying this because, you know, we do have that possible bear hidden. Now, if we look on the H1, it's like many of the others, we got that C up. But this one didn't quite get to the 100 fib. It does have the bearish divergence. So, you know, you could look for a sell. You're going down onto the lower time frames. I don't want to drag this video out for too long, but what you'd be looking for is like a WXY. You'd be looking for an X2 and trading that Z down. And then waiting for it either gives a price action, either gives you a larger correction for more downside, or it goes up and breaks the top. So yeah, you'd be looking to trade a wave Z down at this stage on the M15. The Swissy, so nothing's changed on this. We got that like A, B, C down. Didn't quite get to that 100 pip. Bounced off the trend line though, the higher time frame trend line, and we got that nice bounce up. Like I mentioned, I'm in this trade. I'm still in it. You know, on the H4, it is starting to get difficult because I'm looking at this A, B, C. I'm still looking at it as a possible flat here. And then we get like the A, B, C. I can't really go into too much why I'm looking at that, but, you know, we do have that extended wave in here. Oh, where's my MACD? And there is a possible bear hidden in here on the H4. On the H1, we do have bearish divergence again in this wave C up. It's still looking rather bullish. It doesn't look finished. We may get like an A, B, C flat in here, and then you just get another one up, right? Possibly up to that 100 pip. If you do get some sort of a flat like this, you could scalp it and you'd be targeting that 100 pip. You'd have to be very careful after that because, you know, we are getting that bearish divergence. And really, excuse me, I should have had a drink. You know, this is looking quite choppy. So if we got an impulse down in here, you definitely could, and then a buy setup on the lower time frames. I mean, we're already on the M15, so you got to go right down on the lower time frames to get your buy set up if you're looking at this as an A, B, C for more upside. Ideally, well, there really isn't a sell setup. We never really got a nice impulse down from a top, so it's going to be difficult to sell. If you do get some sort of a sell, so you'd just be looking for it like an A, B, C at this stage. Get it to break even. If it falls over on you, well, all good, because on the H1 we do have that wave C up, and we got that bearish divergence. So if you do get a nice sell set up, you could definitely look for the sell. EG, I'll just go over very quickly. Dailies, nothing's changed. We're looking at the A, B, extended wave C. It was looking good. We got that W, X, Y, X2, and I was looking for that Z down. It never went and broke the low. So now it's become a lot more difficult. Like many of the others on the daily, there is no clear direction now. It never completed this structure, this corrective structure. So makes it difficult. We're really only trading on the lower time frames. Like I've mentioned many times, we got bearish divergence. We got this impulse down. We're looking for a correction, and then we're looking to go and break that low. Well, that's just about happened. Has it broken the low? It hasn't quite broken the low. Ideally, it does come down, break this low, and then we can start to look for buys again. But it's very difficult to buy here. Ideally, it gives you like an A, B, C down, bullish divergence, and then you get a bullish setup. You can look for a buy. Until that, I'd just leave it alone until it gives us something like that. On the H1, more than likely we'll get more downside, because we do have a bear hidden here. So we got some sort of an A, B, C in here as your flat. And then you get an A, B, C. WTI. Yeah, well, like I've mentioned over many months now, you're looking at that as a bottom. You got an impulse up, and because we got such a deep wave in here, there's two scenarios now. Either this is the A, this is all the B, and we get a C up. And more than likely, if that's the case, if this is the end of the B wave and we get that C up, more than likely it's just going to be an A, B, C, and then we get more downside. The other scenario, which I'm more inclined to look at, is what I've been showing you, and we get impulse, correction, impulse, and then we get an impulse, correction, impulse as some sort of a larger flat, and then we may get another one down. Well, then we'll get another one down, breaking the low before we get more upside. So I'm really looking at this structure here, like I'm showing you, and the reason why is because, like I've been saying over the last few weeks, this is looking corrective. Well, you can actually see what I'm looking at here. This is what I was looking at during the week. But so we got the 5 down on the H4. We got an A. Looking at this as a B, we get a C down here, and then we get that A, B, C. Pretty self-explanatory. It's all. I've got the counts on there for you to look at. I should take this off, but oh, it's not on the H1, so that's good. Oh, those arrows, I was just going to take those arrows off. But so we got this like A, B, C in here. We got A, B, C. So I'm be looking for downside A, B, C, a scalp to the downside, and then you'd be looking for the larger C up. So I'd be looking to, it's mainly just scalping at this stage, really. You could scalp this C down in here, and you could scalp that C up. And then if you could trade the larger C down to go and break the low, if you get the setup, that'll be a few weeks away yet. Gold. So on the weekly, this has broken the top, like I've mentioned many times. So this can be the end, can be the top. we never got to those targets at 123.6 and the 161.8 on the weekly targets, but it did break the top of the wave Y. On the H4, like I've mentioned, we got those three up. We got that 1, 2, 3 up, bounced off the 100 pip, and we got that bearish divergence. But we had that bull hidden here as well. So, and this bull hidden didn't go up and break the top. But I dare say this is going to become more complex. We get an A, I'm looking at this as a B, we get a C up, and then we get an A, B, C. C breaking the low, and then we may get more upside after we get some sort of a larger correction. I'd be looking at some sort of a structure like this, like I've just showed. This is looking like a B wave. We get a C up here, and then you could look for a sell for the larger A, B, C, and then a few weeks from now we may get a buy set up. But yeah. So if you're looking to buy it now, it's more of a scout for a wave C up. Silver. Well, this is very similar to gold. The thing with silver was we got the 5 up in here. We got 1, 2, 3 down, larger correction. We got a nice impulse up, but it never went and broke the ending point of wave Z here. Like we got that W, X, Y, X2, and that Z up. We lost all that bullish divergence. We lost the bearish divergence in this wave Z up here. So I was just looking for a larger correction and then for it to go up and break the top. It never went up and quite broke that top. So again, this is becoming quite complex like gold is. And as you can see, I'll be very quick on this. It's virtually the same. You can see the arrows. So, you'd be looking for a buy in here for like the A, B, C, and this C down for the A, B, C. I was looking for this wave Z up. I didn't take the count off, but last week, a couple of weeks ago, I was looking for a W, X, Y, X2. We had that bull hidden to go and break the top. This never went and broke the top. So, we ruled that wave Z out. We get a B wave, we get a C. So basically you could scalp this structure here that I'm looking at, this C up and this C down. Bitcoin on the daily. Like I've mentioned, nothing's changed, and I'd be doing the same thing. We got this nice impulse. You got to wait for the correction, and you're still in the waiting game, or you're in the sell. One of the two. There's no buy. You got to wait for the correction before you can buy this. It has fallen over here. You sort of got. I did show this in in my room. This you could sell that, and you're targeting that 50 fib. So if you're not in it, you pretty much stay out of it now. You wait for the larger correction, and then you look for the buy. S&P. So this is going up. This is playing beautifully like we've always been looking at it. Looking at that W, X, Y, X2, Z up. We got up to that first target, the 123.6, and it looks like we're going to get up to that 161.8. There's really not much to do. We're getting a lot of bearish divergence now. So very risky to trade. We were looking at this flat in here to go up and break the top. It did break the top. They're very risky trade in here. That's going. So really now you'd be going down onto the lower, right down onto the lower time frames, and you'd be looking for a W, X, Y, X2 and a Z up. So if you're looking for a buy, you'd be waiting for the X2 and then looking to trade that Z up. Other than that, I wouldn't be scalping in here, but a lot of gurus tell you to do that sort of thing. That's not the way I trade. But yeah. AU 200. This is playing out really nicely as well. Well, this one has played out. You know, we got that A, B, C. This wave C's broken the ending point of wave A. Yeah, and we're looking for that target, that 100 fib. On the lower time frames, this is not meant to be on there. But yeah, we're looking for that wave Z up on the H4. So we got that W, X, Y, X2. We got that bull hidden here. We're looking for that wave Z. I've got the targets on here, the 123.6 and the 161.8. Just make sure this is at the bottom here. Yeah, it is. So yeah, you can look for buys on here up to that 123.6 and the 161.8. The H1 we got, you know, the 3 down, bounced clean off the 100 fib and the trend line. Bullish divergence, you know, you're getting a setup in here to buy, bang, you know, you buy it. I won't do, because this has gone on for quite a while, I'll just quickly do these. You know, the FTSE, I'd just be staying out of it. It's very choppy in here. So I'm not even going to go over this week. I'll leave it till next week. I have dragged this video out a little bit long, but this is very choppy. There's no real clear direction on the daily. It's not playing the game. Really wanted to see that A, B. We wanted to see that C up to that 100 fib and then look for a sell for the A, B, C. It's not playing the game. This is looking like a B wave. Like I said last week, you get an A, B, C down, you're flat, and then you get an A, B, C. So, you know, if you're looking to trade, I'd probably be looking for a buy, you know, just to break that top. And then more likely more downside, 1, 2, 3, you know, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Goes on, massive correction before you get the upside. The DAX. This one's played out. I mean, it didn't play out exactly how, you know, I was looking at that A, B, C. That played out. Then we get that A, B, C. Well, this C wave here, I would have really liked more downside. We didn't. We got an impulse up. We're starting to get the correction. And like I've been mentioning over the last few weeks, you have to wait for this correction. You know, you can't go buying up the top here, you know, like the gurus want you to do, well, suggest you do. You have to wait for the correction, and this can take, you know, 2, 3, 4, a month, or even longer. You got to wait for this correction, and then we can look for the buy. Now, is there a complete structure in here? I would be looking at it as like some sort of W, X, Y, X2, and we've got a Z down. Unfortunately, we don't have the bullish divergence, but this may be complete now because we do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. You'd have to go right down onto the lower time frames to get your entry, and really there isn't an entry yet because this last section here we got 1, 2, 3, possible 4 with a bear hidden here. It may just come up here and fall over on you. Ideally it does just come up here, fall over on you, give you a lower low, and then you get the buy set up because you want that bullish divergence in here. And then if you get that buy set up, you could buy for that, you know, just to go up and break that top like I showed. So I hope you enjoyed the weekly outlook. If you did, please hit the like button. It doesn't cost you anything to hit the like button. Share and subscribe. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you out there next week.